Z, after a pretty long delay period and a bunch of Discord lockdowns where I got to yap into the void since I have those privileges, dropped the Higuruma update. It was, if you consider what he was going for, not fully done, since it was supposed to have the domain and the awakening, but that stuff took too long, and so he released what he already had done for now. What I will say about the update is that it is pretty good. It introduces some new moves for Higuruma, which are pretty cool, and there's some much needed balance changes, plus general quality of life features. I'm not going to show the update log, since the update's been out for enough time already, and this video is more so my thoughts on what's happened. What I will say in advance though, is that the update makes Higuruma way more fun to play. Does it make him good? No. Is he finished? Also no. And so, him being fun to play, but not strong, is a perfect place to be at for an unfinished character, because that means the concept is good, and the only thing that needs to be finished is content. And whatever update Z drops, hopefully tomorrow on Saturday, should be pretty good and finish up his base a bit. Oh wait, no it won't, apparently it's just bug fixes. Damn, that sucks. Well, whatever. Without further ado, let's talk about Higuruma and how he is now. Let's first talk about the new Higuruma moves. First one is Justice Served, which has been reworked from being a series of punches that led to 3 different outcomes depending on what button you pressed, into a gavel slam that either bypasses block on a direct hit, or releases a shockwave that can be blocked on a non-direct hit, both of which ragdoll whoever gets hit by it. Personally, I think it's a huge improvement. The first version of Justice Served was basically just a reskin of the first move, which made it really boring because the only use for it was if you either landed a guard break so that you could use yet another move in that combo, or if your first move was on a cooldown. It was boring because it didn't do anything Higuruma already didn't have, and even worse, it was a combo move too, where its use in neutral, the fun part of the game, was pretty limited. Now, Justice Served is a bit more interesting. I will say that the move's use in neutral is still kind of limited. The startup is a little long to make it a good guard break, unlike faster moves like Mahito and Yuji's Black Flashes, but at the same time, using it from far away does force your opponent to block, which can be used pretty well if you pair it up with your third move that can grapple onto people. If they don't block a shockwave, they get ragdolled, which you can really easily capitalize off of for a combo extender with grapple. And if you land a combo too, you can just use the move, land it for some free damage, and then keep your combo going with grapple. It's a pretty cool move that ups Higuruma's combo game and neutral, and it's fun. One note on it though, is that the hitbox is deceptively small. Like, you see this big shockwave, and you might think, oh, you gotta block this thing, that's not an easy dodge. But nah, it's a super easy move to get out of the way of, and the hitbox is really tiny overall. It's still not bad, just very easy to dodge, and also pretty easy to miss. As for Higuruma's third move, the thing is also pretty great. On the surface, it is kind of an old Toad reskin, but it does have that whole mix-up property that Higuruma is based around. The normal version pulls your opponent to you for a free combo, and it hits ragdoll, but it's blockable. The R version, however, grapples you to your opponent, which is a great gap closer that actually helps Higuruma's neutral a bit, since you can forcibly close any distance between you and whoever you're fighting. One thing to note on the move though, is that holy crap, it's fast as hell. The startup on it is almost impossible to notice, since you sort of have to predict block it instead of, actually blocking it on reaction. I've caught so many people out of their moves with it, because unlike other auto aims in the game, this thing comes out near instantly, so you can very reliably catch people on one of their whiffs, or even just in neutral, unlike Toad where it either takes too long, or people just react to it effortlessly. It does do 0 damage, yes, outside of that 5 damage variant you can do on people that is completely useless. I don't know why you would do this, but that's pretty fair considering how brain-dead easy it is to land. Solid move for sure, only gripe being that the stun on it can be very inconsistent, and there have been times where my opponent was able to block my M1s right after. In terms of how Higuruma is right now though, he's definitely a weak character. Weakest in the game right now for sure, which is almost entirely because he's an early access character that's missing his moves, whose damage values are designed around him having all of them, but Higuruma just doesn't have much going for him right now. His damage is conditional and nowhere near consistent, plus he can get punished off his first move where most of your damage comes from. And while his neutral isn't terrible, because yes, you do have grapple, it really doesn't mean much since your damage is horrifically bad. You have to death by 1,000 cuts to your opponent when they only need like 2 combos to take you out. And dealing decent damage requires you to make the right guess on the majority of players, and is pretty much impossible on good players who are actually able to react to the gavel down slam. Though I'll admit, those types of players are very, very rare. It makes me laugh when I see people call Higuruma busted or stuff like that, and I saw a Jujutsu Shenanigans tier list on the Reddit that put Higuruma in 3rd place. And what the hell? They did say it was super unofficial, and was their opinion, so no disrespect to them, but I genuinely don't get how anybody justifies calling Higuruma broken, because he's nowhere near that. If you're getting mixed up, that's just a legitimate skill issue, and even if you do get mixed up, you're taking about the same amount of damage you take from the average Gojo or Choso user, and if we're going into comp player territory, way less than what you take from a sweaty Megumi or Mahito. All his damage comes from making the right reads, and taking away ragdoll cancels, all to accomplish what other characters can do for way less effort with way more consistency. The funny thing is, it's like Z was trying to make a mix-up character with combo resets, and whatever, as if this was a competitive fighting game where combo damage scaling and resets, you know, are a thing that actually matter. But this is JJS, where that whole thing doesn't exist, and so any kind of risky combo tool that has a chance to either drop the combo or get you more damage really has to have some actual value to it, which Higuruma doesn't. Some people have the misconception that he's a mix-up character, and somewhat like Yuji, but no, he's not. What makes Yuji different is that Yuji's so-called mix-ups actually let him easily start combos, and at the same time, none of his damage is reliant on it. They're like actual fighting game resets, where you can choose to feint to keep a combo going at the expense of possibly losing out on guaranteed damage, but you still have the option to go for decent damage. Higuruma doesn't have that. He doesn't have neutral mix-ups that help him start combos, just a really good move for starting combos and grapple, nor does he have much safe guaranteed damage like Yuji does. Maybe a 4th move would change that, but as he is now, definitely not like Yuji. Right now, the only reward he gets for properly reading someone with a move is just decent damage, whereas punishment is losing pretty much everything. There is also a risk-free combo involving every single one of his moves, but it does pretty pitiful damage and just isn't really that great compared to any other character. I think it is just early access syndrome where people think the character that they don't have access to is way more busted than it actually is, or maybe a symptom of a character being so weak that only absolute sweats are left using it, kinda what some Yuji players think is happening with Yuji, though Yuji is actually really good, so it's a bit of a different situation. Higuruma's a bottom tier right now, with the potential to rise to top tier when he's finished, but if you think he's broken, maybe buy early access and try him out yourself, because trust me, he's not. As for other stuff I actually care about, apparently hitbox and block detection was improved. Blocking seems to have actually worked. I'm having more trouble than before bypassing a forward dash on good players, but the hitbox thing is barely noticeable. My down slams still have a lot of trouble landing, same with Higuruma's first moves, gavel slam at times, but generally hitboxes don't seem that different, nor do they have any glaring issues. I think it's a good thing if I notice nothing big enough though, but I really only use Higuruma for this video, so I could be missing something. Brother's got a damage buff, and I actually agree with this one. It's still amazing damage, enough that one more climax jumping is easily gonna kill, but still not a broken one-shot or whatever. The cooldown for Supernova should make Choso a lot more easy to approach now, and it's definitely a deserved nerf, because his base is one of the strongest in the game. As for Mahito's front dash extend being removed, that's something that I really need to do more testing on, because I have no idea if this removes Mahito's infinite combo or not. But if it does, Mahito might not be the strongest character for sweats anymore. No idea if that's the case, need more testing, but the loss of an infinite is definitely a hard blow to the character, though it's a very fair one, because infinite combos are stupid. Oh, same deal with Focus Strike. That move was way too strong to have the short cooldown it did, so a slight increase like what it has now is a bit more fair. Finally, Dreams hitting grounded players kinda doesn't matter. Like, it does, but also doesn't. And I say that because while it would help you follow up one of your other Toto moves with Dreams for more damage, or capitalize off of any ragdoll really, the hitbox is super inconsistent, and most of your moves not too far away to capitalize off of Dreams anyway. At least while they're still ragdolled. The wake up is another story entirely. And is also a story where whether you can hit ragdoll or not doesn't matter at all. Overall, this update's a pretty good one. I see some people calling it trash, but that's more likely than not just them being disappointed of update delays, and also them being idiots who don't know what college is because they haven't gone to high school, where knowing what colleges actually matters. I hate high school, guess why this video was late? But generally, I'd say it was good. Higuruma was so boring to play before, because he's just M1 combo with a mix-up, M1 combo with a mix-up, but now he actually has tools he can use, and some more flashy fun combos to pull off. Great update, and that's enough glazing from me. If you want to stay up to date on JJS, then consider subscribing, helps me out too, and well, I'm Noob Eternally, thanks for watching, hope you have a good day, and bye.